Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 3 on Dante Must Die difficulty. This is Mission 3. It's entitled The Devil's Tower. We'll be getting to the Devil's Tower by and by. What you want to do, though, right away is to charge your Devil Trigger and get rid of these Enigmas very quickly, because they're the most problematic enemies that are on this particular map. On very hard and on this difficulty, they have the ability to lock onto you even more than they do on the lower difficulties, and their shots take away an amount of damage that you would not even believe. On very hard, even still on very hard, it's pretty remarkable how much damage you take off of them. But pretty soon we'll have the Wrath come out, and then when he comes out, what you want to do is just shoot him from afar. You can also target the flaming trash barrels here if enemies are in the vicinity. But so here's a couple of things about why I'm doing this guide over again. First of all, because I had the technical issues that I mentioned in video 1, and also I stated some things wrong that I wish I hadn't have stated, factual errors in my speech, and I could have actually just put annotations on the video, but I just wanted to start over because I didn't feel like I was good enough, and also I was harping on the difficulty too much and calling it unfair. It really is a judgment call from person to person whether you think it's unfair. I think it's really annoying. It takes away a lot of the fun from the game that these enemies have such an HP buff when they Devil Trigger. Because if you play this game on very hard down, I would say like the funnest mode, if you're pretty good and you're skilled, very hard is the difficulty that will give you the most challenge and the most fun. Well, this will give you the most challenge, but it's not really fun. But I understand the need for a guide like this, because very hard mode, it's not that tough, because there's no HP buff with these enemies. I mean, it's just the right balance, I would say, of getting damaged and also having the enemies, with an HP that's actually valid. When these enemies Devil Trigger, it's too much mashing of buttons. So you want to focus on doing combos and doing the Devil Trigger transformation, which I'll go over again what that is. It's simply holding down the L1 button when you have one or more of the orange runes in your Devil Trigger gauge. So this bar area here, it's very familiar if you've done the challenge associated with it. And then we'll be doing a mandatory fight. So these fights are getting a little bit more easy for me. Not, that's the wrong way to say it, but it's not. I'm fearing the enemies a little bit less now that I know a little bit more about them. Like when I did this guide just last week, I'm sorry I missed these cutscenes. That's unlike me. But this game, it's kind of like with Ninja Gaiden 2 and Vanquish, like really difficult games. I have to, tell you the best I can, translate it the best I can, because I need to speak about this. You'll have these 3 sloths coming in. These sloths are very easy to deal with, and if you have the Royal Guard on, you can pretty much bait them into attacking you and build up your Royal Gauge, and then as it progressively fills up, you can use the Just Release. And I'll go over a little bit more about that. But what I want to add to this community of people, because I know the people that can do SS rank these chapters, they would laugh at a guide like this. But that's a minority. I mean, there's so many more people that need help with this game, and I was one of those people. Like when I was using items on normal mode, I mean, I'm still going to be using items. That my motto pretty much is, I'll do as well as I can. If I'm not doing well, I'll just allow myself to perish or just get killed or whatever. But I'll always I'll always try to do my absolute best. And when I have to sacrifice progress or when I reach a mental breaking point, I'll just use an item. So that's pretty much, use but don't abuse the items. That's my motto. Now I've been practicing a lot. I've gone through all the difficulties now, and it's still a learning game. So what I was going to say about these professional players, like, when I see people SS rank missions, which pretty much means you have to, well, it doesn't pretty much mean anything. It fucking means that you have to go through the level, not take damage, and do all the other requirements. Go through it fast enough, get all the orbs, get all the stylish points. But like, when I see that, those people, they never put commentary on, because it's not really their fault. But right here, watch out for the weapons hitting you from below. It's not right. It shouldn't do that, but it does anyway. But these professionals, they're so skilled that they can't translate what they're doing verbally. Either that, or they just don't want to. But where I come in is that I'm so beneath their skill level that but I understand the game, and I can explain it to people who are at or below my skill level. So, that's not saying that I'm good at all. I'm just saying that I'm getting better, and it's a learning game, and they don't make these games this hard or this good anymore. I mean, a lot of people play difficulty. A lot of people play these games these days, like these new games on the hardest difficulty, because they're not made hard. Like, just imagine a really popular YouTuber trying to do a difficulty like this, because he always does hard difficulties. He always plays the hardest difficulty. This game there's nothing like this game really in difficulty. But you have everything you do have everything you need to take care of every situation. But the hardest thing for me in this game are the bosses, definitely. I'm good at several, but I'm not good at others. So, we're going to be facing the Cerberus pretty soon, and here, I'm sorry I spoke over this. I will, go back on topic by and by. However, these enemies, watch out for the lusts. These two enemies, they really aren't difficult, because the bottom line is that you just don't want to hit enemies when they're in a crowd, because everybody's attacking and doing their own thing. So if you can isolate everybody and get as many people off camera as possible, that's a great way to do it, because then whoever's off camera is essentially pacified. Even the sloths who will come over to you if you put them on camera via their teleportation move. So just watch out for the hand over here. And you see, when it's just one enemy left, he's helpless. And you can just go to town on him. You can interrupt his combos even if he's double triggered, but it's not guaranteed. It's a very slim percentage that you can actually do that. So I like the downtime in this game. I think it has really good pacing. And the attention to detail is just utterly exquisite here, because when you jump on the trash cans, it even makes a sound, a different sound. So come on in here and get this orb here. I think these are 1,000. Listen to this. Do you hear that? Like, they even took the time to put a trash can sound effect. But for Cerberus, what I have is the Sword Master, so that I can jump in the air and press the B button. Okay, so the Cerberus boss fight here in the Ice Guardian's chamber. What you need to know about this fight is that it's very, very dangerous to stay in the middle of the arena, because the head in the middle is the one that shoots the projectile. You can hit the projectile and cancel it out, but it's a lot riskier. I mean, you get a little bit of money, but it's nowhere near the risk, I would say. It's probably about 100 orbs. But what this guy does is, one head will shoot the projectile, one head will drop icicles, and the other head will pull the ground, not pull, but put a wide area of effect attack on the ground. well, not really an area. It's an area of damage that you can get hit on if you're not in the air. So whichever head that you need to dispatch first, I would focus on that, because the one that just dropped those icicles is the rightmost head. And what I do on that is I wait just half a second before he's going to do it, and then I will evade, because if I find that when I evade too early, the lingering effect of the icicles, like the icicles on the side towards which I'm evading, they'll end up hitting me if I don't evade. If I evade too soon, rather. So what I have on is the Sword Master, and like I said, what I'm doing is I'm just jumping towards him when I get a chance after stinging. What's it called? The stinger. I'm doing the stinger over to him. So, sorry about this. This is the second time I've had to do this voice commentary, but if you stay to the left or to the right, that projectile won't hit you, because it's the head in the middle, I believe, that's shooting it, so it can't realistically hit you. Although you're never really safe on the left or right completely, unless you get the right head out, which is dropping the icicles, because those will come on those will come no matter where you are, as well as that pool of ice. So that's really what you have to watch out for. Just the attacks that the heads are doing. You can stand over here, cycle through your guns to fire cancel, and hit the ice off him. It does a little bit more damage. You see how his paws will attack you from time to time. He's also got an attack where he does two of them later in the fight. So I think it's not that one, but the basic tenet of the fight is to shoot the ice off each one of his heads. The paws don't really matter, but you might get more damage off him if all the ice is completely off of him. Just remember that when he rears up, he's going to regenerate his shields. And you see how the leftmost head is the one that does the area of effect on the ground, which you have to be in the air to evade, even if it looks like it's far enough away from you that it's not going to hit you. It will hit you. So I've been turned into an icicle many a time. So you saw how I was on the right side of the screen and he still hit me. So what I do is I'm pretty aggressive at first, and I try to take off as much damage as I can without using any items, and then I will resort to using some items here, because I have yet to clear this guy without using items. It's legitimately. I know you can go to the side of the screen and cycle through your weapons if you want to, but you do have to watch out for the icicle attack, because that's going to hit you over there. Even if his other attacks don't, that one will. So it's just kind of, I just don't trust the boss too much, because he's very aggressive when you get up close to him. And that attack takes about half your life away, easily half of your life. When he does his paw attack, you can go over to him and just jump and slice at him with the circle button. So a lot of this fight is getting the iframes from the rolls to go through the attacks, because you kind of get into the corner sometimes, and it's not good, because then you have no way to go, except really just one way. Okay, so now he's getting a little bit more aggressive, as bosses are wont to do. He's doing the paw attack, and he's summoning the icicles, two of them. So just judge that, and then when you get the iframes from that, just go over to him and proceed to hit him. It's a difficult boss to describe, and it's all these fights are reflexes, so I could only guide you so much, but I hope that this helps you as best as it can. So here he's just dropping more icicles. I wasn't able to roll. Probably because the character was facing the wrong way and I couldn't compensate for it properly. Another instance of that. I should have done this. I should have done that. But it's a really intense fight and a very intimidating fight for one of the first official boss fights of the game. But this takes away pretty legitimate damage. I mean, look, you saw how much that was. I mean, look at the damage he's taking right here. So the spiral is very good to get damage off him. I won't deny that. It just kind of depends on how much you want to incorporate that in your own strategy here. And just because he turns red, it doesn't mean that he gets a whole bunch more moves, really. I mean, he's got the icicles that he throws on the ground towards you. That's about it. And the paw attack, which I think he gets anyway. So now that he's almost dead, I'm going to jump over to him and keep hitting him after I use the stingers to get close to him, to close in the distance. And just very rapidly use the gun. I was using the gunslinger at one point, but then I couldn't jump and press the circle button. It doesn't work that way. So what I was finding with the gunslinger was that I was too focused on holding down the square button to charge the attack, and I needed my focus to be all on evading and shooting him and circling or cycling the heads that I was targeting. So we only have this one head, and this is the one that throws down the ice on the ground, so we have to watch out for that. And then once it dissipates, just go over to him, and you have a little bit more room for error here because he's not going to be so aggressive having fewer heads, but he still will charge across the screen. I hope this video helped. I will be seeing you in Mission 4. We'll be inside the Devil's Tower. So just finish him off here, and I will see you over there. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this is helping you out.